Horror, horror, and more horror. We just can't seem to get enough of the thrills and jump scares. A House on the Bayou is an American horror film centered around the remote getaway of a couple and their daughter. Turns out, a trip to the countryside is not always as peaceful as you're expecting it to be. Let's talk a little bit about the film. First up, how it all started. The story starts with a young couple having problems in their marriage. Those problems being the husband, who is a teacher, having an affair with one of his students. The couple decides to work on their marriage and decides the best thing for them to do would be a vacation in a remote town. The husband, John, is played by John Schneider, and the wife, Jess, is played by Angela Sarafian. After Jess finds out about John's affair with his student, Vivian, John tells her that he is going to end this affair and wants to focus on his family instead. Now, how many times have we learned never to trust someone unfaithful? In Jess's case, apparently not enough times. She decides to give her husband another chance and uses her connections as a realtor to find them a house in the countryside in Louisiana. So, the couple, along with their daughter, Anna, pack up their bags for the weekend and head off to the remote countryside. But this vacation is going to be far from peaceful. Next, the Bayou getaway. The couple arrive and the first thing they do is argue over dinner. Every couple argues over these small things, but this is definitely not a good sign after one of them has been caught cheating. We're not surprised though. The argument ends with Jess telling John and Anna to go to the shop and get veal for their dinner. Now this is where we see the other characters make an entrance. Anna meets Isaac, an 18-year-old boy who she flirts with. We all remember a time when we were in our early teens and the excitement we would feel when meeting an older boy. But don't get too comfy with Isaac. There's more to the cute boy than meets the eye. After buying the veal, both father and daughter head over to the cash counter. As John is paying, the old man at the counter writes a cryptic message on the receipt. "The devil is watching you." If this didn't give you shivers like us, then we don't know what will. Imagine a man who you've never met before giving you a message like that. It's a clear sign to get the hell out of there. John got slightly spooked, rightfully so, and left the store without buying the veal. Bad move or no? And now, the dinner with Isaac and Grandpappy. As if that spooky message hadn't left enough of an impression on the family, Isaac soon appeared at their door. And if this isn't enough to give you a warning light about the boy, he even manages to manipulate Jess and John to invite him and his Grandpappy over for dinner. This invitation exposes John's lie to Jess about there being no veal at the store when Isaac's Grandpappy decided to cook just that for dinner. When everyone finally sits down for dinner, Isaac showcases a hostile attitude towards John and uses cryptic threats to torment the family members. Talk about a rude guest. Am I right? In Isaac's absence, Grandpappy explains to them that Isaac is not human. He is, in fact, a mysterious force. Cue the dramatic music. Grandpappy further plays a record in which a secret is revealed. It turns out that John planned to leave his family for Vivian all along. Are we really surprised? John, of course, denies this, but Jess is starting to see through his web of lies and deception. There's a limit to how much you can fool someone. Next up, John's plan. You might think there's a limit to how low a person can stoop, but this wasn't true in John's case. You may want to hold on to your seats for this. Not only was he unfaithful to his wife, he also plotted to get her murdered while they were away on his vacation. John's grand plan is revealed when he is sent outside where Isaac is. We see him arguing with Isaac about his plans to get Jess murdered by both Isaac and his Grandpappy in return for a hefty sum. If you thought this was a big twist, then hold on to your seats, because Isaac reveals to John that he is now in control of everything. John is shell-shocked, to say the least, when he hears about this. Even he wasn't expecting this. While John and Isaac are talking outside, Grandpappy is talking to Jess inside and convincing her that John is not the man and she thinks he is. After everything, we don't think Grandpappy needed to try that hard to convince her. If John's infidelity hadn't been the final straw for Jess, then his lack of remorse and plan to handle things must surely have been. And now, Jess's reaction. Convinced of her decision, Jess informs John that she's leaving him. While both husband and wife are trying to solve this issue between themselves, Isaac and Grandpappy have other things in mind. They have plotted something of their own. Isaac locks John in a room, and guess who shows up at the front door? None other than Vivian. Isaac had plotted this all along. He used John's phone to lure Vivian to the house. Grandpappy forces the girl into the car, which is covered in gasoline. He then forces Anna to burn the girl in her car as punishment for all her sins. But Jess, filled with rage by now, burns Vivian instead. Hell truly hath no fury like a woman scorned. While all this is taking place, John is still locked inside the room, unable to do anything about the events taking place outside. If you're still waiting for John's punishment, then you don't have to worry about that anymore. He is brutally mauled to death by a demonic coyote while locked inside the room. Do you think he got what he deserved? If you think the deaths stopped there, then you're very much mistaken. Jess is now filled with fury, goes on to murder both Grandpappy and Isaac for all the things they've done. And the murder isn't pretty either. Both of them really face her full anger. Now, the aftermath. That was a lot to take in. Jess now takes control and takes Anna to the police station. She now knows that she needs to get the hell out of there. This town is definitely not what they signed up for. Both mother and daughter enter the police station in a disheveled frenzy and report the events. But by the time they go back to the house with the cops, there's nothing there. No house, no burning car, no dead bodies, nothing. To say Jess and Anna were shocked would be an understatement. They had no idea what happened. Before the mother and daughter begin to think of themselves as crazy, the sheriff explains to them that Isaac and Grandpappy are two residents of this town who try to cleanse the town of all kinds of evil. They've been doing that for a long time, and most of the people who've met them have not survived the encounter. He told Jess that she should consider herself lucky for making it through all that alive. He warns her to forget all about the events that took place here and never return. When they see Isaac and Grandpappy pass by and wave at them, completely fine. Not a single scratch on them, smiling as if we didn't see them brutally killed before. Now the reaction to the film. Good or bad? What did you think about the movie? Do you think it was a success, or do you think the story could have been a bit better? Going back to the beginning, Jess had already known of the house when choosing a location for their getaway. She had known about the property in rural Louisiana, so did Isaac and Grandpappy expect them way before? Or was it all purely coincidence? Coming to the next scene where John goes to buy veal but ends up buying beef instead, it could be that this rural area has a lot of demand for veal. When Isaac later turns up at their door claiming they had too much veal at the shop, imagine Jess's surprise when John had told her about the shortage earlier. When Isaac and Grandpappy turn up at their house for dinner, Isaac acts pretty weird. He apparently knows his way around the house. Who would have expected something so sinister from an innocent-looking 18-year-old? It was pretty unexpected. We would recommend this movie to anyone who likes horror films, leaning a bit on the demonic and gory side. We think there was no shortage in that area, was there? Well, that's a wrap for this video. Do you think this film made it into your must-watch spooks list? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.